on this week's episode we have the sister band of Splintered Halo, Heart of Hecate. Now, how's it going, guys? Welcome to the Doomsday Report.
Hello.
Now, since we last chatted, there has been a slight change in lineup with Chris departing to go and concentrate on his studies, and Scott has been, well, put in his place. So I guess my first question is, how has the change been? Has there been like a different feeling, a dynamic within the band? Has it stayed the same?
I think the guitars have got louder. Yeah. No, I think it's always different when somebody joins and they've always got that kind of period where somebody settles in, but it's been
But we have also rewrote the set and transposed it and rewritten pretty much every single song that's in it, so the whole set is different, it sounds different, it feels different.
Yeah.
Right,
The
so
Scottish just come in with the new stuff
time.
and just accented it for
So
himself.
Chris's guitar parts has now got Scott's like turn on them.
Yeah.
So it's more your part now.
Also, like Chris's parts were kind of transitioning between sort of synth and bouncing onto his guitar.
Yeah.
But I think Scotty's quite a technical individual, and he's managed to kind of create a more simplistic approach towards it, whereas there's less kind of like jumping about, and he's created an alternative like method of sound, and it's actually benefited us to a grand extent.
It has, it's been lovely. Less fuckery and more music.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, how long was you learning the material before the announcement was made?
Like, so,
Breakneck.
yeah, so I think was it maybe like,
Has it been 9 weeks?
I
9
think
weeks,
so.
I think, yeah.
9
like-
weeks to learn
Really?
both the Halo and the Hecate set, and the boys has pulled it off.
I
I can tell that. You know, this brings me on to my next question.
sorry.
How hard has it been to learn the material from both projects?
It's been okay, so we've, Dan said, we kind of did away with the synth just because I live so far away, and practicing with the synth and bringing it on the bus, it's not happening, so we went for electro-harmonic synth pedal, so it's just kind of trying to find the right sound with that at volume and stuff. So it's more dynamic kind of things that have been a struggle, or not a struggle. Aside from that though, it's just finding the time every day to, an hour every day chipping away at it, but they're such fun songs to play that it's genuinely a pleasure.
Awesome.
So that kind of keeps you going.
Right, now, you mentioned the last time that Hecate was on the Doomsday Report that he was working towards an EP.
Yes.
How's that coming along?
Well, it's now a full album. It's
It's
going
now
to
an
be,
album, is it?
Yeah,
Ooh,
so
I like the
and
sound
we're
of
also
this.
working on the Halo album at the same time, so we're going to be releasing both around the same time, recording both at the same time.
Yep.
It's already underway.
Okay, do you
so,
have any time for personal lives?
No.
Well,
For what, sorry?
I personally,
What is it?
personally down to the
Personal life.
basis that that's how we make this work. I don't know how the rest of you guys do it.
Oh dear. Now, you guys posted a picture of a video shoot on your Facebook wall a while back,
Yes.
and you teased what song is this. So can you tell me what song's it for?
It's
And
for the ritual. We will be playing it tonight.
right.
And by a strange conspiring of circumstances, Scotty actually stood in on the video. Chris is not in the video. It was actually Scotty, and
Really?
then
We had to go all the way up to Ladybank to do the shoots. That's where
It was actually
scenes were.
serious.
That's where the on-site scenes were. Scotty was already up there, heading up there.
Quick
So
question there about Lady Van Wood. None of the doggers were around, were they?
We went there,
Okay,
Lady Banquets.
that's quite famous out. You know the wee car park area in Lady Bang Woods.
How do you know?
Yeah.
I used to live in Lady Bang.
Yeah, you did.
Right.
You know, as simple as that.
any better than to bother us. With good reason.
Now, when's that video going to be released?
we don't have a concrete date. It'll come out probably around the same time as the album.
Probably,
So
probably as part,
we'll
probably as
tie
part of the
our
album
show
promotion.
Yeah, I was having a wee
When
nosy.
it's done, when it's done is the answer.
I was having a wee nosy through your Facebook page. I was like, I can't see it. I was like, please tell me it's not been released and I've missed it somewhere.
No.
You know, so I
We've
had
got
to
this
sweat.
enormous Excel spreadsheet that Ev's in charge of, that obviously there's so many stages to every
Project
song,
management.
learning and all the project management, so it is in hand, and we feel like we're constantly saying it's in hand, but we can see it all fill up.
And it's
Yeah.
all
So
come
It's
together.
actually
It's
Yeah.
not work, but it is
obviously
ticking along.
changing member will
Right.
Yeah.
always set you back a wee bit.
Nice, yeah,
Scotty, you
change
have
things.
to learn things rapid, so you're on my schedule. Good boy.
Yes.
Now, your live performance tells the story of a demon who fell in love with a girl and possessed her.
Yeah.
Now, it's a very atmospheric performance, as the story is told, of the chaos that follows and the possession from Belial. Now, where did the idea for the whole concept of this come from?
A lot of chatting with us, eh?
It's kind of always we both like to take stories and twist them, so it just kind of fell in. I think it was on a megabus.
I
We
mean,
were
it
away
was,
in Manchester or
it was in a
something, we
megabus.
chatted about it.
I think it was in a megabus.
Twist through time and space and into the ether of time.
Because obviously you can't just sit on the megabus and watch Netflix or something, you've got to work.
We're driving to a dog in sight and it doesn't.
There's that F crack in the whip then, yeah.
Well,
But I'm quite excited by it, and Michelle's always been around from the beginning, like the idea, the witchcraft, the fundamentals behind it.
Aye, with a lot in common. I think the phone's really coming first and we're like, right, well,
Aye, we've got a coven, so what do we do now?
Couple of
Next.
witches, a bunch of spooky bitches. Now, how long did it take you to come up with not just the concept but of the story, but the performance telling the story as well?
that's been quite organic, I think, and quite a lot of everybody pitching in there. Because it did just start with an idea and then you've got to try and write the songs, and it's quite organic, so
Yeah.
it's hard to say a time frame, it's just one of those things.
I think when it first started, it kind of fell into play because the way we were kind of sort of forming together, you kind of took advantage of our strengths, and you kind of sort of made that a party to kind of the songwriting structure, as far as I remember.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when preparing for a Hecate show, what's your day like? Is it any different to when you're preparing a Halo show? Is there any difference?
Well,
A lot
want-
more makeup.
do you want the honest answer?
Well,
Well-
I'm here for honesty.
Halo is I would say, very well rehearsed. Like, it's probably more comfortable. We've always played a lot less shows as Hecate.
Yeah.
So I would probably say our titties were fucking flattened.
Aye.
So yeah,
Stress.
bit nervous about it.
Yeah.
I think I've
Bit of excitement.
A bit of
A bit
excitement.
of excitement.
A bit of excitement. Preparation wise, I would probably prepare a bit more for Hecate than Halo. Halo, we know it. I'm speaking for you as well, Scott. I know probably you feel the same about Halo and Hecate, but for the rest of us, we're more comfortable. So there's definitely a bit more preparation as in Hecate.
So an interesting thing, just like I just thought of, like going back about, like you were asking about learning the songs and everything. Like
Yeah.
learning the songs is fine, but see learning the internal language in this band. Titties are flapping and excitement. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
I've known this guy for like 10 years.
Yeah.
Still like,
So where is it you stay?
Glenrothes and Fife.
Oh, no danger. I went to Adam Smith College there when I was studying.
Oh yeah.
When I was studying my sound engineering.
Like Bissett.
James Bissett.
James
aye.
Bissett, that was it. Yeah.
He was
Back in
my
the day.
lecturer. Aye, he's a man. Now, what is the writing process like for Hecate?
It really depends. Some of them, one of them was I wrote a comatose. I wrote on a megabus again. Funnily
same
enough.
megabus.
The same megabus and the return journey. Some of them you've written.
A lot of what
Everybody
I
kind of
wrote
feeds in.
initially was like we've totally redone
Aye.
the set, so I guess the bones were there for quite a lot, and then you threw out some bangers. It was like, oh, they're even dancers, so we had to just redo it all. And like Dan said, with everybody's strengths, it was like, actually you can do that, and that
Well,
sounds great.
Well, a bit of distance as well. When we look back at the set, some of the songs are a bit, in my opinion, or in all your opinions, a bit too long.
yeah.
So we cut them down. We're like, actually, what's good about this song? Let's keep the good bits. Let's
What's
get rid
fun
of the
to play,
dross,
what's not fun to
and
play.
let's put in more fun stuff. So we've really changed them up. And then you've done a heck of a lot of work on drums as well. So my bum wiggles the whole time now. Yes, dancing.
Right, now one thing I wanted to cover was, as you mentioned, like the wide variety of genres. Is there a certain mindset that you need to be in when writing the Hecate songs, as you, like you said, you use multiple genres of music compared to Halo?
Personally, I would say Hill's a bit more straightforward because you can do research on a particular character. So, for
Right.
example, Mary Queen of Scots, I'm like, okay, I know I want bagpipes, I'm going to listen to loads of Scottish music, loads of different stuff, and you kind of know where your influences are. With Hecate, it's maybe a bit harder because the spec is just, can it be dancey, can it be dark, and does it fit the emotion or the part of the story that we're trying to tell? So it's probably a bit
Does it fit into
more
the story
difficult.
sort of thing?
But we don't really care about what it actually sounds like, as long as it's dark and dancey.
Yeah.
Dark and
I
dancey.
like that. Heart of Hecate, dark and dancey.
Yeah.
It works, it works. Now, what's your favourite part about being in two bands, and what is the biggest challenge with it?
Well, personally for me, I think with Halo you wear the mask, so it's difficult to kind of sort of, you know, catch your breath between each song, whereas we're kind of more free and open. So like more open space.
I'm the exact opposite to you. My challenge with Hecate is feeling really naked and exposed on stage.
Right.
Not having a mask, like you learn to sort of emote without your face.
That is true. You get more of an alter identity with Splintered.
So if you play shite in Halo, it's fine, 'cause it's just me that takes the shame. I don't even know who even was that band that was on, but you all have to take the shame with me in Hecate.
But then
Is
again,
that what I'm hearing?
no. Depending on what's here, we should play Mustafa.
Yeah,
Mustafa.
this guy. I think probably another challenge as well is it probably just wouldn't work if it wasn't all the same lineup. So we've tried to make sure that everybody's into both bands and if you're joining.
That's one thing that I've always liked, is the fact that it is two bands, but you know it's one lineup.
Yeah.
Which actually leads me on to my next question. What advice would you give a band who want to follow in your footsteps and have two bands but with the same lineup? What advice would you give that band?
You've probably got to have you've got to try to do something different.
Yeah.
For a start, so there's no point having two bands that do exactly the same thing. So I know obviously we tell stories in both bands, but they're fundamentally different. So obviously we're trying to be dancier with Hecate. It is more kind of cult driven, and it's telling the one story, and it's more about an emotion rather than a character that we've kind of created. And obviously Halo's whatever the fuck Halo happens to be, that particular song, whatever the song needs.
I kind of feel like we're all into metal and we all have been for a bajillion years.
Yeah.
And it's like, Halo is very like nuts and bolts kind of thing. It's like, it's gain and sometimes a bit clean. Whereas like having a second band, like it has to be like a second band where you can just kind of explore other things and like sprinkle a bit of pepper on it kind of thing and just like let the spicy side out, if that makes sense.
I like that.
It's just like, it's, you know, it's like your other whims kind of thing.
Yeah.
Halo's a bit more nuts and bolts, this is a bit more
It
kind
has to be a different outlet for whatever it is.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Now, are you planning on using any different instruments in future songs that you haven't used in, like...
Well, I've started using a sample pad, so I'm a bit out of my comfort zone now.
Really?
A new bit of kit, but
How are you handling that?
don't know yet.
Have you not started using it yet?
Well, it should be used at practice.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see tonight.
Turn it off.
We have got plans for expansion and particular instruments and stuff that we have in our
A lot of it's
possession,
from a
but
practical point of view, we'd probably use it in the recording studio
Right.
because you have to think about how you would make these things up. So from a practical point of view, we'll maybe keep the live set up fairly nuts and bolts, but we do have various instruments that we dabble in
Yeah.
Right,
for
awesome.
both bands actually. For both bands.
Awesome. Now, you don't play as many shows as Hecate as you do Halo. Will this be the final showing of Hecate of the year, or do you have any other gigs planned?
We don't have anything else planned, and so actually Hecate and Halo will hopefully now pause. We've got one more show with Halo next month down south, and then we're hoping to pause both bands to concentrate on the album because we have got so much work to do in that project plan.
So you're cracking
And when
on
you're
with
trying to rehearse for gigs as well, it takes you away from like that focus of writing, recording, and getting shit done. So what do we do to kind of just pause and focus?
Yeah, and travelling for me is like utterly exhausting.
So you're playing tomorrow night as well as Halo, aren't you?
yes.
Yeah.
How has the warm up for the two gigs? How has it been? Because obviously, like I say, two bands, two different.
A little stressful since it's been like it's kind of sort of back to back shows. So on one night we're doing Hecate, and then the next we're doing Halo. So it's, but fortunately we've had this project plans kind of like kicked in where we're basically kind of committed to like the practices. So like one half we're doing Hecate, another half we're doing Halo.
It's a half and half approach.
Right.
Depending on whether we spot that there's a problem with a particular song, we'll actually let's just fucking fix that.
Yeah.
So it's just about prioritising. We decide as a band actually what are we most worried about, and we'll focus on that. But it's mostly 50-50, like Dan said.
Brilliant. Well, I mean, what can I say? This has been really informative, guys. You know, what do you want to do afterwards, after the album's out? Have you got plans for videos?
Yeah, so I think we spoke to you before in Halo interviews that we've kind of broadened our skills, so
Yeah.
we can do videos ourselves now, so to do as much DIY as possible. And both bands, imagery wise, it's like so much fun to do videos for either of them really. So our plan is to get the Ritual video finished, get the album out, and then probably tour the albums, like give them to fuck.
Will there ever be like a day you play on the same gig with both bands?
That would be stressful.
Yeah, say Halo, I mean Hecate open up and then have like say another band and then Halo finish.
I wouldn't say no, probably we need to bring like tons of baby wipes, like and then change it.
To get the baby wipes, we need shower. We need
yeah,
set up
yeah,
shower cubicles.
I put eyeliner on for the first time yesterday and like it would not fucking come off.
Yeah, we're technically supporting Scott
Yeah,
on
yeah.
WhatsApp because he's like, what do I do with this? And this
Like,
is
have you got my cellar water?
What?
my cellar water, what is it? And you're just screenshotting it.
Yeah, I will send you a
I've
picture.
got a little Tupperware of it with me.
Oh,
Good boy.
yeah.
Anyway, how long has this gig been planned?
This one,
Yeah.
a while.
Right.
We booked it before we'd rewritten the set. We were like,
It was booked before I joined.
I was booked before you joined, and we booked it and we're like, we need to rewrite that set, we're not happy with any of the songs.
Aye, you
So
booked-
we'll just
you
book
booked
the
it,
gig.
you booked the gig and just like, we booked the show. We need to redo the set.
Ev's quite good at already putting something in place. Like, by the way, we do actually have a confirmed gig in 3 months, so now
So
we
get
have
the
to
shit in
rewrite
there.
the
Right.
set.
It's a good pick up.
It's a good kick up the arse
Aye.
because would we have had as much ready as we've had ready?
I don't
Well,
think
you need a
so.
timeline, I guess. You know, a timeline to work to.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
So it really has been a kick, and that's us. We've got a set that we can now actually, if a show comes up and it's one we don't want to knock back, we're ready.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you for taking this time to speak to me.
Thank
I'm
you,
looking,
sir.
I'm looking forward to seeing your show again tonight. I mean, I watched your performance again on YouTube last night.
Ah!
You know, the last show.
Who
Yeah.
was that? That wasn't
It
us.
wasn't even us.
That wasn't you, that wasn't
No,
Hecate.
that wasn't us.
No, no, no,
no.
It just must have been
Imposters.
another group of spooky bitches then. There's so many of them around the scene, you know. But anyway, thanks for speaking to me, guys. It's been brilliant as usual. I'm looking forward to your performance. But what can I say? I have been Esteban. This has been Heart of Halo. Heart of Hecate. And this has been the Doomsday Report. Keep it metal.